Trump breaking news today. Trump is looking out for the interests of NATO and the West as a whole. In 2019, France's Liberal President Emmanuel Macron said that NATO was going through brain death. The president has repeatedly said that NATO countries should chip in. Neither of these heads of state was, however, implicated as a Russian spy or as a threat to Western civilization. By their own admission, progressive politicians and media only hold Donald Trump to a higher standard when it comes to making such accusations. In the years following Trump's departure, the Biden administration has presided over a disastrous turn in Afghanistan, betrayed American citizens and allies, pursued an energy war that benefited Russia, introduced progressive and woke ideas that stoked artificial social conflicts, diminished America's international standing, and may have even exacerbated the conflicts we witness on a global scale. There is no danger to the West from President Trump's re-election in this setting. It may even help to fortify it. Actually, how can Trump's goal of boosting NATO contributions imply a reduction in the organization's strength? Trump would undoubtedly urge member nations not to pay for Russia's or China's defense if he were in their favor. There is a lack of accountability and transparency when it comes to the United States' foreign spending, which is a problem for many Americans, particularly conservatives. Trump is expressing this worry, occasionally with harshness, since his earlier pleas have been ignored. Obviously, the 45th president and his supporters are aware that the United States' withdrawal from international affairs during World War I exacerbated the already complicated and unstable global situation. The United States would be weaker and less prosperous with such an isolationist policy today, while China would gain power. As Trump stated in 2018, America First does not refer to the United States alone. This perspective goes beyond only defense. In the name of so-called green energy, lawmakers in the European Union have, for years, shut down nuclear power plants, coal plants, and natural gas exploration, damaging the supply side. Due to the lack of renewable energy options and the ongoing open attack on traditional energy sources, the European Union is now reliant on Russia and other non-ally nations for its energy needs. The first person to say that depending on Russia would be a bad idea was President Trump. In addition to achieving U.S. energy independence, he advocated for the European Union to shift its energy supply away from Russia and toward its allies. Furthermore, between 2017 and 2020, the Trump administration designated and sanctioned several persons and businesses tied to Russia. Of these, approximately half were associated with Ukraine. Robert Gates, who served as defense secretary under President Obama, has joined the chorus of those who claim the Trump administration has taken the hardest stance against Russia. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State in 2019, denounced Russia's aggression against Ukraine and its unlawful actions in Crimea. In reaction to human rights abuses, the Salisbury attack, activities in Syria and Venezuela, cyber attacks, and Russia's persistent aggression in Ukraine, the Trump administration implemented sanctions throughout his presidency. An additional target of President Trump's severe sanctions was the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. A solid internal situation, according to Trump, can boost a country's position in the international world, providing it more bargaining power and leverage and discouraging enemies from taking action. Looking back, we can see that the years 2017 to 2021, in reality, were relatively calm. Peace accords between Arab nations and Israel were among Trump's foreign policy achievements during his first 4 years in office. The fight against the Islamic State was a win for Trump. He sanctioned communist governments and successfully implemented a maximum pressure approach on Iran. The risk of decoupling and the danger China posed were both brought to light by Trump. Here, the United States and the European Union may find common ground and work together more closely. After all, we can all benefit economically, politically, and culturally from a shift away from socialist policies and toward free markets and capitalism. It goes without saying that a second Trump presidency would be the time to do more to stop American awakened and progressive envoys from imposing their agendas. It is unacceptable for the executive branch to subvert the president's interests by making choices without consulting him, as happened frequently throughout Trump's first term. In contrast to nations that support socialism and play both sides of geopolitical rivals, particularly in sensitive areas, a second Trump administration should prioritize strengthening ties with partners who support the United States and share its objectives. Of course, it's no secret that Americans are wary and distrustful of foreign involvement due to the mistakes made by American foreign policy. Conservative political leaders have the difficult task of balancing the demands of American citizens for fiscal restraint, greater openness and accountability in government, and improved social and economic policies with the imperative for American leadership abroad. During his first time in office, President Trump did it by enacting domestic measures like tax cuts, deregulation, supply-side initiatives, border protection, and law and order. He can demonstrate to the world that the U.S. and its allies are capable of withstanding geopolitical threats. If Trump wants Europe to do the same, he should urge them to. A new coalition can strengthen both sides of the Atlantic, much as Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and John Paul II maintained the Western balance of power by pursuing a single objective with similar policies. The correct policies have the ability to revive the West's flagging prestige, protect its values from current threats, and increase prosperity for people in the United States and Europe. This will put a damper on the ambitious ambitions of geopolitical opponents who are opposed to a global order based on Western values. We should give President Trump a second opportunity to make his argument and carry on the work he began, because he is the best leader to accomplish this. Among Nikola Ketty's many accomplishments were his work as a financial analyst and economic expert, his co-authorship of the Center-Right Values Constitution, and his contributions to many media sources across the globe. Everything you read in Ketty's articles is his personal view.